Calm down, man.
Yeah.
Calm down. The referee bumped it.
Oh, come on,
The referee
man.
bumped it for Chelsea.
What do you mean the referee?
Nah, man.
Listen, cut
Chelsea
that out,
deserved
man.
to win that.
We deserve to win.
Chelsea, nah, it's Chelsea. Man.
Yeah, man, we deserved it.
We didn't deserve
We
to win
deserved it.
We deserve it. We deserve it. We deserve it. I support Arsenal, and apparently I was a fool. Just the other day, my little cousin said that was cool. We deserve it.
Hi there, guys, and welcome to another episode of A Dash of Sports, episode 16. I'll be your host and presenter, Dashiki Dash, and on this show is where I talk about all things sports related, hot topics, and trending stories. And if you like the previous episodes, hey, you know what to do. Give us a like, comment, subscribe, and also that notification button. Make sure you press that so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And oh yeah, don't forget to share this. And on today's show, I'm going to be kicking it off with some football with my review of the FA Cup final, where Arsenal beat Chelsea to become the FA Cup trophy winners. What did the cup final actually mean for both rookie managers? And what now for Arteta and Arsenal moving forward? I'm also going to recap the Premier League season that's just gone by, looking at the newly crowned champions and the teams that qualify for Europe, being the Champions League and Europa, and the Premier League dropouts, for those teams that unfortunately couldn't survive and ended up losing their battle against relegation. And moving on to some boxing as I look back to this past weekend's first fights of the Matchroom fight camp, where Eddie Hearn presents his showcase event live for 4 weeks in the back garden of the Matchroom boxing headquarters. And then capping it off with some Formula 1 racing, Lewis Hamilton wins the Silverstone Grand Prix with a punctured tyre. This guy, he's too much, you know. More to be discussed on A Dash of Sports. Yeah, campione, campione, ole, ole, ole,
Bruv, what are you doing, bruv?
Oh,
That's
yours.
That's my champagne bottle, bro. Where do you get it from?
I found it at the back.
Nah, bruv. Nah.
Celebrate.
Send that back. I don't care about no celebration.
Send
Send it
it
back.
the
I
FA
don't
Cup.
fucking care, bruv. Send it back.
We won the
No
FA.
one cares about no FA Cup.
Yeah. Yes! Come on, Arsenal! Get in there! Come on! Oh man, I was so nervous. But we managed to do it. Arsenal managed to do it, beating Chelsea 2-1 to finally win the FA Cup. Ah, what an amazing feeling. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang scored a brace as Arsenal came from behind to beat Chelsea 2-1 to win the FA Cup for a record 14th time. And I always knew who was going to win. Come on, man. Who was going to win? I knew that Arsenal was going to win. I wasn't confident one bit. Not even one bit was I confident. If you watched the previous show, you would have noticed like I was trying to maintain, trying to put the positive energy out there, but I was not confident going into that game. And I just kept thinking to myself, was like, come on, man, surely you can't lose in the final. We're going to win. And then I just kept thinking to myself, man, Chelsea are going to do it. You know, Chelsea are quite notorious. At the same time, we beat Chelsea in the FA Cup final twice, but then we lost in Baku. Chelsea, you know, finishing 4th, we finished 8th. I know that we beat Liverpool and we beat Man City, but how many times can we get that kind of performance? Because we've been very inconsistent. So I just kept thinking to myself, man, Arsenal, I don't know, man. So watching the game, I was just a bag of nerves. I was so nervous for the game, I even missed out on going to one of my boys' barbecue because I was just like, nah, man, I'm not watching the game with you guys. Everybody's got their different vibe and different energy. I need to keep mine contained here in my own household, watch the final. Is anybody else like that as well? Like, can you watch like a big game around other people, or do you just stay locked up, locked away? Because that's what I do. I find it hard to watch a game around people. I need to be in my own space, just me, myself and I, and the TV or whatever device you're watching, and I can't do it, man. Let me know, man. How do you lot watch games? Now let me set the scene for you, in case you didn't watch the match, you was underneath a rock somewhere, or you just don't support Arsenal or Chelsea, or you're a Spurs fan. Now a lot of things were hinging on this match for Arsenal, unlike Chelsea. Arsenal winning this meant it would be a direct ticket into the Europa League, which would help massively financially, and just the club's personal aspect in terms of like being able to attract better players, being able to keep players like Aubameyang. All of these things was just up in the air for 90 plus minutes, not knowing which way it's gonna go. For Chelsea, they had similar motivations, but I think their real hunger would have come from the fact that, just like Arteta, for Frank Lampard to have been able to win the FA Cup in his first season in charge at Chelsea. But that didn't go to plan, and they ended up losing 2-1 to Arsenal. Not too dissimilar to the Cup final in 2017. Actually, Arsenal's run is practically identical, because they had Man City in the semi-final, beat them. Then they had Chelsea in the final, beat them. Same referee as well. Yeah, he wasn't great. He wasn't great. As an Arsenal fan, I'll turn around and be like, boy, it is what it is. It is what it is. Chelsea did face a number of obstacles during the match. Like, they had Azpilicueta that came off in the first half after bringing down Aubameyang. And then you had Pulisic in the earlier on in the second half, who got his injury, an apparent hamstring injury that ended his day. Then later on in the second half, Kovacic had his second yellow card, which led to a red, and they were down to 10 men. Now, it's all ifs and maybes, and I know it's part of football. You get injuries, you get players that get sent off, which happened to Kovacic with the second yellow, and it wasn't a red card, to be fair. I'm going to put my hands up. The referee had a bit of a shocker, but it's all swings and roundabouts. Sometimes you get decisions, sometimes decisions go against you. And on this occasion, lucky enough. But during the game, I feel like Lampard, he struggled a little bit tactically. Now, you can't count for going down to 10 men. Actually, it makes it quite difficult for the team that's playing against 10 men, because Chelsea were sitting back, and it makes it a lot difficult to break them down. But before that, with the injuries that happened with Azpilicueta, but I think more importantly when it was Pulisic, because you're not really going to get a player that's going to be able to come and fill his boots, especially with the likes of Willian that wasn't playing. Apparently he was injured. Pedro tried to come on, but at the same time he just didn't have the same impact as Pulisic. So yes, I get it, but at the same time you have to adapt. You definitely have to adapt. But what did you think of the game? Whether you're an Arsenal fan, Chelsea fan, I'm actually more intrigued to hear what the neutrals have to say, because I've watched the game again and I felt like it was closer than what we actually thought. But I think the injury to Pulisic in the second half was the game changer, because he was the danger man. He was Chelsea's go-to man. I felt like he was the one that was going to be able to open up Arsenal. Once he was gone, it left us just to be like, you know what, let's just go for this now. And if you look in the second half as well, where the ball kept being played in and behind, as we got much success in the first half, Chelsea sat back on it and we couldn't really expose them the way we did in the first half. And quickly, before I move on to the managers, what about Aubameyang? Dr. Oba! The guy has been incredible this season. I felt sorry for him, the fact that he wasn't able to finish with a golden boot. It was the least that, the very least that he could have got for an amazing season. Like, you got to remember, Arsenal finished 8th. He actually finished 2nd in the golden boot running. So, like, you got to think to yourself, if he was in a team that was just literally was set up for him, man, he would get goals upon goals. I think it's like the last 4 seasons, he's finished with 20 plus goals. He's consistent, but at the same time, he can be very annoying because, listen, I don't blame him. He's a goal scorer, innit? He's a goal scorer, but in this day and age, you need your striker to do just a little bit more. And I think the way Arsenal set up is not completely suited to him. I admit that, because he needs to be on the end of things. He's not really there to be, he's not like an Henry who's going to be like the king of assists and goals. So it is frustrating sometimes. But give Aubameyang the credit that is due, and when it comes to goal scoring, he is I think he's the best personally. There's going to be debates and arguments about who's the best striker, but I think this season in itself, I think he's been the best. But he's been amazing. From the semi-final to the final, he just literally proved that when you need your striker, when you need your talisman to step up, when you need your guy to get you across the line, when you need your guy to perform, that's when they turn up. Finals is when they turn up. You need these guys to turn up. Although the final was under weird circumstances, if you think about the pre-match hype and how it was built up, there was a lot to it, because you got to think to yourself, it was a London derby, Arsenal versus Chelsea, and then all the talk about Arteta versus Lampard, rookie versus rookie. So I was thinking to myself before the game, who would the winning team, the winning manager, who was it more important to? For both managers, it was going to be the first trophy in their career. Let me start with Lampard. You think to yourself, with Lampard, he's had a really good season. I feel personally, there's been a lot of stats out there that's showing that maybe he's not really done all that in terms of not getting promoted with Derby, and the fact that, from 3rd to 4th with Chelsea. But all in all, when you actually think about it, transfer ban, losing Hazard, and your first Premier League team that you're managing, that's not easy. You got to go there, you got to change the whole setup, you got to implement your ideas, your philosophy. So all in all, I think he's done well, and plus he's qualified for Champions League. So getting that trophy would have just been an added bonus, I feel personally. I think for Arteta now, going into an Arsenal team that was literally down on their knees, it was in complete disarray, a complete disaster. Like, the players turning on the fans turning on the players turning on themselves. So he had to come there and shake things up. You still got the issues with Mesut Ozil. The league position wasn't great. Finishing in 8th, not ideal. But at the same time, being able to push the team, getting that winner's mentality, regardless of finishing 8th, the fact that you're in a final and you go into the final and you win it, allows you to understand, you know what, with more that I can bring to this team, maybe with extra players and just being able to change the team a little bit, might be able to achieve more than this. So I might be sounding a tad biased, yes, but I just feel like when you think about it before the game, if Arteta wins the FA Cup, it's going to mean a lot more for him, being able to achieve Europe, being able to win a trophy for the first time. This is his first. It's not like Lampard where he's been with Derby. This is Arteta's first club. Let me know what you think. Do you think I'm right? Do you think that if Lampard would have won the FA Cup, it would have been more important to him? Or do you think that Arteta is the one that's going to benefit more from winning the FA Cup? Write your notes down below, leave your comments, and let me know. And now, moving on to my Premier League recap. And let me just say this. This season just gone. This season that's just gone, you're never going to forget it. Never, ever, ever, ever going to forget it, because it's just been one of those, nothing was exempt. Like, whether it was football, whether it was just people's works, jobs, just normal life, everything was on a standstill. I literally felt for myself, and I'm guessing everybody else out there was thinking the same thing. Are we going to finish this season? Liverpool fans were shaking. For the first time in 30 years, they was going to win the title. But then everything was just spun out into a standstill, and we didn't know what was going to happen. So you just got to give full ratings to the Premier League. When football came back, it literally put a smile on our faces. And it just shows you, like, whether it's football, whether it's other particular sports that you're into, once we was able to watch what we love watching on a daily, weekly basis, it just brought back a whole different spirit. It uplifted everybody, and I'm just glad the Premier League were, amongst other leagues as well, I'm glad the Premier League were able to find a way to finish off things, and we was able to declare a winner in Liverpool. We was able to see, late charges and teams being able to qualify for the Champions League. Who would have thought that Man United would have finished third? You had teams like Leicester holding down that 3rd place, and they'll keep repeating it. Brendan Rodgers, a complete flop show. Then you got the likes of Chelsea at the beginning of the season. I thought to myself, man, Lampard is going to struggle because they got hit like for 4-0 by United. Had a couple other results that didn't go their way, so I was thinking to myself, ooh, Lampard, it's going to be tough, man, baptism of fire and all of that. But slowly but surely, he was able to get a good run of results and kept them up there, you know, in the Champions League position. They've managed to finish 4th. And then you got the likes of United who were languishing in 10th, 12th or something like that. Nobody would have thought that Man United, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ole at the wheel, would have been able to get them to 3rd. And like I said in the previous show, it's like, I understand why United fans were so happy, like, in terms of celebrating so hard, because they had no right to finish 3rd. No right. And so you got the likes of Spurs who finished in 6th position, which meant it's automatic qualification for Europa. Leicester finished in 5th, Spurs finished in 6th, Wolves finishes in 7th position. Then you've got Arsenal who finished in 8th, but still had an FA Cup final as we know. Now winning that FA Cup final means that Wolves are going to be out of the qualification running, and then it puts Spurs having to go into qualification rounds, which means they're going to have to play 2 or 3 rounds before they can actually qualify, which means now they're going to have to come back earlier than they have to. In the season already, playing back-to-back games is causing injuries left, right and centre. So it's going to be tough. And Arsenal winning the FA Cup qualify automatically. So it's been a real strange one this season. Then we look down at the rock bottom pit of the Premier League to see that Norwich, Bournemouth and Watford have been relegated. Aston Villa managed to escape by the skin of their teeth. Let me know how you felt about the season, whether it was pre-lockdown, post-lockdown. It was a strange one, but all in all, unique at the same time. So, like I said, it's going to be definitely one that we're never going to forget. But hey, put your comments down below and let me know what part of the season will stand out for you. Because like I said, you know, it was strange, but unique at the same time. And moving on to some boxing, as it made its a long-awaited and much anticipated return to the UK. Although we're not able to go and watch it live, we're fortunate enough to watch it on our screens. There's going to be a 4-week event that's going to be taking place in the Matchroom Boxing headquarters garden. Now, strange, yes, but listen, man, we've got to get over it now. Everything is innovative. We've got to think outside the box. And Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing have done an amazing thing by putting this together where we're going to be able to watch boxing for the next 4 weeks. Now, I've got to give a shout out to one of the most charismatic boxing promoters there is out there, and that's Eddie Hearn. Because when you think about it, a lot of other boxing promoters were ready just to sit out and wait and to see how all of this COVID-19 business is going to ride out. But Eddie Hearn's thinking to himself, listen, we've got to get boxing back. A lot of these fighters as well, majority of them, don't get paid unless they fight. So a lot of mouths needs to be fed, and you got to think to yourself, what can we do? Now, venues and a lot of places for you to hold fights, they're not on it. So what's the next best thing? Why not have fights outside in his garden? Initially when he mentioned it, a lot of people were like, what? Boxing in the garden? What's going on? And he named it, he fake dubbed it the Matchroom Square Garden. But as the weeks were going by, as he was promoting it, then you started seeing how it was taking shape, how they were building, all the construction around it. It started feeling like a good idea. Then you got the likes of Dillian White and Povetkin who are lined up to fight in this event as well. Then you're like, you know what? There's a bit of prestige going on with this. This is actually the real deal. Now, if you've been watching UFC, you'll notice with the fight camp as well, it's quite similar in terms of the protocols and what they've got to put in place in order for the fights to be able to run. So for example, the fighters themselves have to be tested about a week beforehand, then self-isolate until the lead up of the fight. All staff, coaches, everybody has to wear masks and also have to be tested, have all the necessary equipment in regards to being safe, and then the fights commence. Now, like I said, this is a 4-week event, and the first week of the fight camp started this Saturday gone, with the first fight between Sam Eggington and Ted Cheeseman, who served up an unforgettable Fight of the Year contender on the opening night. After 12 relentless rounds of back and forth action, Cheeseman took Eggington's IBF International Super Welterweight title, along with his number 5 ranking with the governing body that pushed him in towards world title contention. And then you had James Tennyson versus Gavin Gwynn, where the big hitting Belfast banger James Tennyson claimed the vacant British light heavyweight title with a powerful 6th round stoppage win over brave Welshman Gavin Gwynn. Now let me say, like, there's no crowd noise, obviously there's no fans or anything like that, so you can hear the heavy pounding blows, and like, that's the good thing about it. I know that Eddie Hearn was flirting with the idea of putting artificial crowd noise and stuff like that, but I feel it was a really good idea just to keep it plain and simple. No crowd noise, just the rawness of it all, hearing the managers in the corner, hearing people giving instructions, and just hearing the lever just pounding on each other. Yeah, man, that was a good fight. It was a good fight. And then you had Fabio Wardley versus Simon Vallily, which was fought under 10 3-minute rounds for the vacant British heavyweight title. But what I like about this so far is a lot of the fighters I'm not too familiar with. So if they're going to continue doing this showcase event and introducing fighters that might not be too familiar with, I reckon this is going to be really good, because this fight in itself, you had Fabio Wardley, who was getting dissed in the pre-fight press conference. Simon Vallily was just dissing him about him being a white-collar boxer, fighting journeymen. Yeah, you've knocked out a journeyman, all of that. And Fabio Wardley, he was saying, listen, man, hey, you're going to get punched out. You're going to get knocked out. You're going to get punched out. Dillian Whyte's heavyweight protege Fabio Wardley stopped Simon Vallily in 3 rounds of their highly anticipated grudge match to pick up the vacant English title, his first professional belt. The powerful prospect was in the toughest assignment of his 9-fight career, but caught Vallily with a big left hook, then finished the fight with a flurry of blurring punches. You also had Dalton Smith versus Nathan Bennett, where Dalton Smith really impressed in his first real test of his professional career by knocking out Liverpool's Nathan Bennett in the 5th round of their super lightweight clash. And another fight was between Jordan Gill and Reece Bellotti, in a fight where Jordan Gill's career was firmly back on track after the skillful featherweight sealed a stylish unanimous decision over Watford's Reece Bellotti in the opening bout of the fight camp. Now, admittedly, I'll put my hands up and say the majority of those fighters, I don't really know who they are. I've not seen them fight. Probably barring Fabio Wardley, that's because he's in and around Dillian Whyte and I've seen him at, you know, his fight camps and stuff. But the rest of them, I don't really know them. But what I do like about this fight camp is going to give the opportunity for people like me who are very much interested in boxing and love to watch boxing. And if there are fighters out there that I don't know, during this fight camp, this 4-week fight camp, I'm going to be able to familiarize myself with these boxers. So it's a great opportunity. So if you don't watch boxing or you're keen on boxing, give it a go, man. 4 weeks of this is going to be amazing. So this Friday the 7th of August will be week 2 of the Matchroom fight camp, where the women will be main eventing with the likes of Terry Harper versus Tasha Jonas for the WBC and IBO World Super Featherweight Championship. Then the other fights on the card will be between Chris Billam-Smith and Nathan Thorley for the Commonwealth Cruiserweight Championship. Then we've got Anthony Fowler versus Adam Harper, Akib Fiaz versus Kane Baker, and Hopi Price versus Johnny Phillips. So there's fighters on the card that I do know, and some I don't even know who they are. But it's going to give me the perfect opportunity to sit down and get myself familiarized with these fighters. I'll be like, you know what, I remember when I first watched them in a Matchroom fight camp, and I'll be like, now they're, you know, world champion here and there. So that's going to give me a great opportunity to do so. But let me know, put your comments down below, because I'm intrigued to know how you lot are feeling about this Matchroom boxing in a garden. Eddie Hearn's holding an event in the back garden of Matchroom headquarters. That's crazy, but it's innovative. So let me know, man. Put your comments down below and let me know. And moving on to the world of Formula 1 racing, where Lewis Hamilton was showing us not just how amazing he is, but also why he's in the elite bracket when it comes to Formula 1 racing. Lewis Hamilton took an extraordinary victory in a dramatic finish to the British Grand Prix, despite suffering a puncture on the last lap. The Mercedes driver's left front tyre failed halfway around the last lap, but he managed to hold on in front of Red Bull's Max Verstappen. Now, when you hear puncture, you're probably just thinking a little flat tyre, and maybe a small nails pierced it, a little shrapnel. Listen, busted. Tyre was busted, and I don't know how he maintained control of that car, because there was another car, I forget the name of the driver and the team, but there was another car that also had a punctured tyre or whatever, and that was skirt all over the place. But Lewis Hamilton was about 30 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen, and that was enough. I think he crossed the line, 6 seconds in front of Max Verstappen, so he was definitely gaining on him. But listen, man, there's something about Lewis Hamilton that always gets on my nerves when it comes to Formula One racing. And it's not Lewis Hamilton, it's just how he's treated. Because if this was anybody else, and I don't really want to go down this route, but I'm going to say it, if it was anybody else, he would be getting he would be getting the ratings. It's like they don't rate him there. They don't rate him. But anyway, Lewis Hamilton, hey, elite when it comes to this driving. Elite. Now, I have no doubt that this is going to be the season that Lewis Hamilton equals Michael Schumacher's 7 Formula One Drivers' Championships. I have no doubt about that. But he just keeps breaking records. Like, he cannot be denied. Like, in this race alone, he beat Senna's record for the most races led from the start to finish, which is 20 times. Then he beats Alain Prost's record for the most wins at a driver's home Grand Prix, which is 7. So, you know, the British Grand Prix being Silverstone, that's Lewis Hamilton's home, man. Beat that record. Then, this record, whether they're going to give it to him or not, the first ever driver to win a Grand Prix on 3 wheels. Now, listen, the tyre was mash up. Absolutely mash up. He crosses the line and wins the race. So, he can't be denied. Elite, I keep telling you. Elite. But love him or hate him, he cannot be denied one bit. You cannot deny this guy's achievements, what he's about to achieve and what he's achieved already. Because, like, I don't get it sometimes. Like, call me naive, because I really don't get it. The disconnect that he has with the British media, the British public. Like, he should be revered as one of the greatest sportsmen that the UK has ever produced. And then, yeah, again, you just think to yourself, he's about to equal Schumacher's record, but it never gets... There's no fanfare about it, you know what I mean? There's no, I don't know, man. Let me know if you understand what I'm trying to say. I feel like people should really hold him up there, like, as one of the greatest, but I don't know what it is. It could be the fact that he just lives a flashy lifestyle. Yeah, again, I'm like, flashy, what is flashy? The guy's got money, he earns a lot of money. Why not enjoy your life? He flies around, he has sexy women, he's got his own fashion line, he's got his little music career on the side. Like, maybe he just doesn't live a conventional F1 driver's life, but he does what he needs to do, and then at the end of the day, when it comes to doing his thing on the track, he's the boss. Maybe it's that. Maybe people just be hating. I don't know. But put your comments below and let me know. Where would you put Lewis Hamilton in terms of British sportsmen and women? Like, where would you rank him? Because for me, I'll rank him real high. But put your comments below and let me know. Well, with that being said, I'm going to leave it there for today. And if you've made it this far into the show, well, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for watching another episode of A Dash of Sports. I truly do appreciate your love and support. And if you need further information about future episodes or just your day-to-day sporting updates, please head over to my Instagram page, and I'm also on Twitter, which is A Dash of Sports. I'll put it down below here, A Dash of Sports, and I'll also put it in my description. And please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I do truly appreciate it. And until the next time here on A Dash of Sports, peace.